What if I told you I'm prepping for the Muscle Beach Vintage Swimsuit competition using only virtual reality workouts? No gym, just me, my headset, and a lot of determination. Today I'm finally sharing a journey that started back in January and show you exactly how I'm using VR to transform my physique for a July 4th competition that celebrates the classic fit and curvy aesthetic of the 1940s and the 1950s, because as they say, you can't take the body out of the atom bomb. Some of you might know I competed in bodybuilding years ago, bikini division, or the least muscular, in my early 20s. I competed 3 times total, first with a coach and then the next 2 times on my own after learning the ropes. Traditional bodybuilding prep is intense. We're talking about 1 to 2 hours of training daily, split between weight training and cardio, plus a rigid diet that typically involves measuring every gram of food, managing sodium, and gradually reducing calories to unsustainable levels. The week of competition is particularly extreme, manipulating water intake, cutting sodium completely, then strategically adding it all back. But what people don't realize is that competition physique is a one-day look. It's physically impossible and unhealthy to maintain that condition. The photos might look glamorous, but behind them was exhaustion, dehydration, and a complicated relationship with food and body image. While competing felt empowering for me, as someone who felt like I never really followed through with anything, it also ironically affected my self-image post-competition. Even during prep, I would look in a mirror thinking that I wasn't lean enough. Then, years down the line after the show, I'd look at old photos and be like, what the were you complaining about? Because I actually looked great. But I still struggled with feeling like the current me never looked as good as I used to be. That's a big reason why I chose the vintage swimsuit division this time. It celebrates a healthier, more sustainable physique while still giving me a fitness goal to work towards. At 33, working in the VR industry, I wondered, could I prove that virtual reality isn't just fun, but could be effective enough to prep for a physique competition? The criteria for the Muscle Beach Vintage Swimsuit division is fit and curvy, not the extreme leanness of bodybuilding. Competitors perform 2 mandatory poses. There's a front flirty pose and a back over the shoulder pose, wearing 1940s to 50s style one-piece suits. My approach has been simple but consistent, 30 minutes of VR workout 6 days a week, primarily using Supernatural, but occasionally with other games thrown in like Fitness Fables and Path of Fury. I've tracked every session since January, intensity, duration, and heart rate. I occasionally added resistance bands, but the core of my training has been purely virtual reality. A typical week includes a mix of boxing and flow, either pros only or hard difficulty, and keeping my heart rate between 120 and 140 beats per minute. When I'm in Supernatural, I'm not just swinging bats around or hitting targets. I'm concentrating on what muscles I'm using to make the movements so I can make the most out of each session. I focus on engaging my core during twists, driving power with my legs during squats, and using full shoulder and back engagement during high targets. If you're also interested in VR fitness, Virtual Athletic League's Fitness Summit 2025 is happening this May 22nd to 24th, featuring over 40 VR fitness titles, including many I've used in my prep, like Fitness Fables and Path of Fury. This will be the largest VR fitness event to date. Panels, workouts, and giveaways. The main event, Worldwide VR Fitness Day, kicks off May 24th, where you can win a MetaQuest and over 100 key giveaways. I'll drop a link in the description. Unfortunately, Supernatural isn't participating, but there are tons of other great apps involved. For nutrition, I've used the Avatar Nutrition app to track my macros and adjust based on weekly progress. I have mine set to lose 1 pound a week, so if I lose too much weight during a weekly check-in, it'll give me more calories, but if I'm not losing enough, it'll lower them. What makes Avatar Nutrition unique is it's not just a food diary like MyFitnessPal. It's like having an AI nutrition coach that automatically adapts my targets. It includes a handy carbs and fat substitution slider for flexibility and focuses on weekly average compliance rather than stressing over daily perfection. Before starting this competition prep, I did a reverse diet. That's where you gradually increase your calories over time while lifting weights to increase your metabolism. Even though I wasn't super strict with it at all by any means, it helped me start my competition prep at around 1,800 calories a day rather than having to start a deficit at much lower. I'm now at 1,555 calories a day, which is much more manageable because I did that reverse diet prior. I'm also not very restrictive about food types. You can see here, I've got corn pops, maybe you can see, I don't know. I eat junk food every now and then, fast food once a week, whatever I want as long as it meets my macros and I don't go over my weekly calorie limit. This is completely different from my original bodybuilding days where I would limit myself to the same clean foods for months. And yes, there have been weeks where I didn't track during travel, personal challenges, and just wanting to enjoy life. This journey needed to be sustainable, not the extreme approach I took in bodybuilding where a single one-off meal would just trigger anxiety. Another unique thing about this prep is that I've been using Claude AI as my coach, sending weekly progress photos, workout logs, and getting feedback on my posing, nutrition, and training. Each week I'd upload photos in my competition suit, share my workout data and nutrition compliance, and Claude would analyze my progress, make suggestions for pose improvements, and help adjust my approach based on real results. Having this accountability and expertise has been incredibly helpful, especially for fine-tuning my posing technique, which is quite different from traditional bodybuilding poses. Starting at 164 pounds, 23.9% body fat in January, I'm now at 156 pounds at 18.3% body fat. The journey hasn't been linear. I've had weeks of travel, a heartbreaking loss of my dog, and times when life simply took priority, but the trend has been consistently positive. My posing routine is now locked in, and these final 6 weeks are about refining both my physique and presentation. So can it be done? Can you prep for a physique competition using only VR? With 6 weeks to go, I think the answer is hopefully yes. Unlike my bodybuilding days, this approach seems more sustainable and enjoyable. I'm not counting down the days when I can eat normally again because I already am. I'm not pushing my body to as unhealthy extremes just for a fleeting moment on stage, or at least not extreme in my mind. I'll try to share some more behind the scenes of competition day prep until July 4th, and I'll also share the final transformation and ultimately proving that VR fitness isn't just a novelty, but it can be a legitimate training approach. If you have any questions about my training or progress or just want to see specific aspects of my journey, just let me know. And if you happen to be in Venice Beach on July 4th, come cheer me on at Muscle Beach. Also, don't forget to register for Val's VR Fitness Summit happening May 22nd to 24th. It's the perfect opportunity to experience all of what VR fitness is about. As always, keep on creating and never lose that drive to improve. I'll see you in the next one.